Coming up next on The Journey with James, episode 10, season 3, we're talking about labels and how labels can affect your life. You don't want to miss this episode, and it starts right now. Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of The Journey with James. I am always excited when I do this podcast. It is my heart, it is my baby, it is who I am, and it's my journey. And I'm so glad you guys are joining me on this journey of life. And today I want to talk about labels. Whether we know it or not, and whether we realize it or not, or whether we want to or not, we all have been labeled in life by people, by certain situations. We have become labeled, and there's really nothing we can do about that. Some labels are good, some labels are bad. But I want to concentrate on those labels that make us seem bad, and labels that make us feel less than, that make us feel like that we're not enough. For far too long in my journey of life, I've dealt with labels. People thought that I'm really sensitive. They thought I was different things in life. And, I just sit here and I'm thinking about all the different things that I've been called and been told in my life. So many labels. Oh, I'm too skinny. Now I'm trying to lose weight. But it's just those labels that can really mess with your mindset. And so by the end of this podcast, I hope that I encourage you enough that you are able to remove those labels. I always share this story, and it's going to be dear to my heart until the day I die, of Dr. Davenport's class in college. It's an English class, but it was dealing with, in the class, we had to do our own memoir. And by the end of that course, we had a memoir of our life. And in that memoir, it was so therapeutic. It was learning learning English, of course, but it's also learning about ourselves and healing ourselves. So by the end of that course, we felt good about ourselves. We felt better. We felt more confident. And so I will never forget the way that she designed that class, where we're learning English, but we're also learning about ourselves. It was like a therapeutic counseling class of sorts. And so what she did was she said, we're going to remove smudges. Her theme was, we're going to remove smudges off your mirror. And these smudges are what people have always said about you. Too fat, you're too skinny, you are gay, you are insensitive, you are this, you are that. It's just so many different labels that people put on you, and they may not even be true. And so by the end of that course, you remove those labels, those smudges that people put on you. You put those things aside. And you remove it and you remember who you are and whose you are. And so one of the things that I have learned through that is that I had to remove those smudges off my mirror. I dealt with traumatic effects at a young age that I didn't even realize until an adult, how much it affected my psyche, how it affected my being now as an adult, because sometimes we gloss over it. Sometimes we just so familiar with chaos and so familiar with toxicity that we become it, like we just sit in it and we are comfortable in it because it's all we know. But it's not healthy. Let me tell you that it's not healthy. And so in that course, it helped me to realize that, I used to have this self-image thing where I felt like I was the skinniest person in the world. I joke and say I can hula hoop through a Cheerio. People have said those things. People say they can wrap a belt around me 4, 5, 6 times. They've said all these things about me, but I would make jokes about myself as well. But deep down inside, I was hurt by those things. I was hurt because I desperately wanted to gain weight. I remember one girl that was in school, in my high school, said to me, she's like, "You're cute, but you're just so skinny. If you had more meat in your bones." And it might have been early high school days. And I remember that because she was so cute and I really liked her. I had a little crush on her and whatnot. And I was sabotaged. I was taken aback by that statement. And it just made me realize that it made me feel like I wasn't enough because it took me back to all those moments as a child and as a middle school and elementary school and growing up around chaoticness. It reminded me that it told me that I wasn't enough. It reminded me that I always told myself that I wasn't enough. And so it was that moment, like, dang, so I had wanted to just gain weight. I tried those, they had this thing at GNC. I don't know if they still had it called Weight Gainer. They may not still have it now. It's been so long ago, but it was called Weight Gainer. I tried that. I tried eating a lot. I could not gain weight. I was like 128 pounds for years and I went to 140 pounds so with all that said, I prayed for it, I asked for it, and I got it. Now I'm trying to lose weight. But see, the thing is, if I was just trusting myself enough and loving myself enough where I was and being grateful for where God had me, I would have been fine, And I look back at that now and say, you know what? That was a sign of low self-esteem. It was a sign of that I was thinking about what everybody else had to say. I was worried about that. And I felt like I wasn't enough if I didn't have more meat on my bones. If I was too skinny, I wasn't enough for somebody because I heard that statement. And she said it in all sincerity. I don't think she was trying to be mean. She didn't come off mean or anything like that. But she didn't know the trauma that I had dealt with beforehand over the years and the tragicness and the things that I heard beforehand. And so all that did was put more icing on that cake and that nasty cake of my self-perception of who I was. And so I was labeled too skinny. There's so many other scenarios I was labeled. Even in this previous years, people labeled me, they talk about me, they say things about me. I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that, or I'm weak or whatever. Those things have been said and those things I'm sure have been talked about. And, I've come to a place now in this world, I don't really care. And I say that with all sincerity because I truly have such a peace and truly have such a calmness about not really caring. And I'm not saying it in a nasty way. I'm saying it in a way of growth takes courage. And I'm mature enough to know that there are people out there that are going to say what they want to say. There are people out there that base their thoughts and sayings about you based on your past, based on how you were. But they forget the fact that people actually change. And they forget the fact that God changes people. And they forget the fact that people actually do the work to change. And I always say growth takes courage. And I took the courage to do what I got to do to change. Not saying I was horrible, because I wasn't. I was saying that I was a human being that needed help in some areas, just like you, a human being that need help in some areas. But I was human enough and mature enough and bold enough to admit my wrongs and to do what I have to do to get the work that I need to get done. And that's where therapy comes into place. That's where my, church comes into place. People who are in my corner who are going to push me, are going to give it to me straight and give it to me the way I may not like to receive it, but it's going to help me. That's what it is, being bold and being confident in that. So I say all that to say to you guys, hey, you may be labeled by some people, and you may be labeled because of your past, and they don't know the new you. You may be labeled because somebody don't like something about you, your mannerisms or whatever. They may not like something on you. But just understand something, that you are, first of all, fearfully and wonderfully made. God's word said you are fearfully and wonderfully made. God makes no junk. You are unique. You are somebody special. And you have to remember that. You are somebody. You are a king. You are a queen. God has made no junk out of you. And so it would be crazy if everybody look alike. We all have different looks. We have different sounds. We have different ways of doing things. We are all uniquely different. But at the end of the day, we are all human beings. And we need to treat each other with respect. We need to treat each other with love. And we need to be careful not to label people based on what you see as appearances or what you think, but instead encourage one another, motivate one another, inspire one another, because we're on this journey of life together. Remove those labels, because those negative labels can actually cause damage, especially as you get older. And so I have to be conscious, even with my children, that I don't put labels on them. I always want to speak positiveness to them, tell them that they are enough, tell them that they are handsome, tell them that they are intelligent and smart. I want to instill those into my kids. I did it when I was young. I remember used to say that to them over and over. I have them say it because I think it's so true that we understand that self-esteem is important, and we understand that having confidence is important, and we understand that those things can be broken by people's words and people's labels. Remove those smudges off your mirror today. You're not too nothing for anybody. You're not too much for anybody. You are you. You are enough. And that's plain and simple. There'll be some people that don't like that. They don't like that part of you. They don't like this and they don't like that. But that's their problem to deal with. But it doesn't change who you uniquely are. And that's you. God created beautiful you. Be yourself. Don't let people label you and change you, but be yourself and walk in confidence, walk in love, and walk in boldness, and know that everything's going to be all right. If you give it to God and you keep asking him for your help and your guidance, because he will see you through, okay? I hope this blessed you today. Please join me on my website at journeywithjames.net at any time. I promise to be updating it with more. My birthday is coming up. I got a little surprises there, so stay tuned for that because it's a milestone birthday. I'm excited about that. So you definitely want to check that. Thank you guys for following my journey over the years. Some have followed me from the very beginning. I thank you. Some have seen growth. I have seen growth. People have told me they've seen growth and just a sense of calmness. I don't let things get to me as much. And I said I don't entirely, but I learned to try to think before I speak. Because people will try you. People will try to take your power. I mean, I'm learning to keep the power that I have within me. People can say what they want. They can go and try to manipulate you, try to make you say things, try to make you fuss, try to make you get out your character. But you have the power to say, you know what? I'm not feeding today. Thank you and have a good night. Just leave it alone. So that's what you got to do sometime to keep moving forward because you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are unique and you have the right to enjoy your life. Don't let nobody take that from you. Don't let labels take that away from you. Enjoy your life. Enjoy who you are. Love who you are. Be grateful for where you are in life today. You may not be where you want to be, but guess what? God is going to bless you if you are grateful for where you are because you could have been somewhere else. And remember, there's always somebody that want to be in your shoes anyway. So think about that when you want to be ungrateful. Be grateful today, okay? Walk in love today, okay? Remove those labels, those negative labels today, okay? You got this, okay? I believe in you, okay? Trust that, okay? God bless you guys. Take care. And remember, journeywithjames.net. And God bless you guys. Thank you for watching season 3. Listening to season 3. You may be listening on the podcast. You may be listening or watching on YouTube or my webpage. But thank you again. Thank you. Love you all. Talk to you again on the next episode. For episode 11, it'll be on season 3 of the Journey with James podcast.